Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Coriander, here we are, Slasher Movie Club. We made it Monday
Yep.
nights. And yeah, man, we're going back to Argento country, man. That's what we're
Yeah.
doing. We're going to be talking about Deep Red from 1975. We're going back in the day. So this should be
Yep.
really, really cool. We kind of had been waiting to do this one for a while, because
Mhm.
we checked it out a while ago, and now we get a chance to talk about it. So let's see who we have in the chat, and let's get going on this old school Italian horror film. We got
Yeah.
Neil is in the chat from Neon Black Reviews. Deep Red is
Hey.
absolutely a
Mhm.
masterpiece, and
Yeah.
I could hear him saying that with conviction. I really can. Good man, good man. I hear you. Let's see. We got Brandon's in the chat saying I watched it for the
Hey.
first time today. That's awesome, man.
Ooh,
That's
nice.
that's very cool. That's
Yeah.
one thing that we really, or at least I should say that I think we've been really enjoying is hopefully getting some folks to check out some things that maybe they haven't watched before. So that's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Neil was like, "Did you guess the killer?" And then Brandon said, "I didn't." Yeah, man, they did a really good
Ooh,
job in this
okay.
one. They
They
really do.
did.
We'll get
Yeah.
we'll get to that. Dan's in the chat. What's up, Dan? All right.
Hey.
Um, let's see. Brandon saying, to be honest, the giallo genre has been a gamble with me. I know it's beloved by so many folks, but the style of it never gelled with me. Really?
Hmm.
Well, you have to tell us what you thought of
Yeah.
this
I'm
movie.
curious now.
You can't
Yeah.
just say that without telling us what you thought of this movie.
Yes.
Come on, man. But
Right?
I will say this, that this style of movie, is definitely not for everyone.
Mm.
But there's so much creativity in a lot of these movies, and many that we've talked about so far, and many that we still have yet to talk about. So, yeah. Let's see. Ginger Ninja's in the chat. What's up, man? What's up?
Hey.
And Dan's taking care of business. Thank you so much, saying put your black gloves on, the ones with the zippers, and stab the like button. Thank you, Dan.
Yeah,
I
don't forget the
I agree.
black raincoat either.
Right, 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 right. Let's see. I'm just trying to catch up here. So
Mhm.
many people here. Eric's in the chat too. What's up, Eric? Saying hope
Nice.
everyone is doing well. I've only seen one Argento movie. Really?
Oh my
Wow,
God. You need to see
dude.
this and Suspiria, man.
Yeah,
Come
man.
on.
You
You
gotta you
gotta
gotta
see
go.
these two.
And Eric is actually, and let me give a lot
Yeah.
of credit to Eric, obviously our good friend, but
Hmm.
Eric goes back through a lot of our older videos. Like, I mean, he's seriously he goes back in the day. Eric, you got to go through, especially in our slasher movie club list. We've got quite a few giallos we've done,
Yeah.
and a couple Argento films that we've done. You got to check those out, man. But he saw Phenomena, and I wasn't a fan, but I'll give him another chance soon. There you go.
Hmm.
There you go.
Nice.
Sean's in the chat.
And
What's
that
going on? And
movie, I mean, I'm sorry, but for that to be your first movie, I could
mhm,
see where you wasn't, a big fan. That's one that I don't know, I get it, so you really
yeah.
should check out these other two. Yeah.
Yeah. Sean's in the chat saying this is a new one for me. All right. All right.
Nice.
That's not a bad thing. Let's see. Dice
Yeah.
is in the chat. What's up, Dice? Good to see you.
Hello.
Good to see you. Let's see. Brandon saying, alas, teach their own. I love Gialli as a genre, so I'm actually starting a podcast I'm creating. This film is a seminal classic. All right.
Nice.
Very, very cool. Good to hear. And I think I caught up to most everyone. And the other Brandon, we've got two Brandons here, saying without spoiling it, I really like this one. Well, there you go. There you go.
Nice.
I mean, I think just
That's
like anything,
awesome.
I think just like, any other, subgenre of horror, you're going to have hits and misses. I mean, the same is true for zombie films or supernatural horror and stuff like that. So, um, Jason just jumped in saying, hello, everyone. Only seen
Hello.
Suspiria, just rented Deep Red. All right. Very,
Ooh,
very cool.
nice.
Okay, so Coriander, let's get into this a little bit. When
Yeah.
you think of Deep Red, what comes to mind? I mean, as far as like your connection to the film and just everything with Dario being really, this was really his big classic that a lot of people look at other than Suspiria.
Yep. Um, I mean, this movie, this is like one of the best. I mean, I think I even like Suspiria is really good, but I think this one for me, this one's above it.
Mhm.
Um, I like the story. The story's almost always the same, but
Mhm.
this one you get, you know what I mean? Because a lot of these you're like, what the fuck? But this one it's like, okay. Um,
Right.
the
Good
gore, I'm
point.
such a gore fan, so the graphic gore that's in this is great. The music, obviously, Goblin is like, if you don't own any Goblin on vinyl, you should hopefully you get some because
Mhm.
yeah, the music was great. It brought so much to the movie and his
Mhm.
camera work. I mean, there's just so much you can say about this movie that yeah, it's really good.
Right. I mean, it's a very interesting story because it opens up with a kill, and
Yeah.
you can't really see anything. So it's already a lot of mystery that's kind of going on with this film. But you've got some really, really interesting characters. The movies after the kill, it just goes right after that and gets into the basic story. And you're at this conference where you have this psychic right here, Helga. Um, just talking about how her, sensitivity works and all these different types of things. And let me just say that this is a beautiful film. I just want to put that out there. It's an absolutely beautiful film. The way that the camera, everything about it, the shots, the color, everything. I mean, like, and what I want to do that's a little bit different in today's episode is just spend some time with just some of the colors and stuff too, some of the imagery,
Mhm.
because I just thought it was just so interesting. Like when I first saw this movie, and I've only seen this movie just a handful of times, couple times,
Mhm.
and even the first time I saw it, I was automatically kind of drawn in to the presentation of it, the colors, the camera shots, the cinematography, the way that the camera moved,
Mhm.
where people were situated and so forth. So
Mhm.
basically, you have this conference that's going on, and Helga all of a sudden is overwhelmed with, this
Yeah, well,
kind of like
she's
a
a psychic.
she's a
Yeah.
psychic,
And she's
and she
showing off her abilities. Yeah.
yeah, and she starts to be able to read the thoughts of the killer. The killer is in the
Yeah.
audience. And of course,
Yeah.
we don't see the killer. And it was a
Hmm.
really, really cool scene. And as you can see all these images with the red behind her, it was really, really cool imagery. But it started right there with more mystery. We had just seen a killing
Hmm.
in the beginning of the film, and now we have more mystery where it's like, okay, the killer's an audience, and she knows who the identity of the killer is, but of course we don't know. And her game plan, she was talking to the professor after the conference, is saying she's going to write down all the images in her mind to basically, make a roadmap of what happened, what she saw. Now,
Yep.
that's a bad idea. As soon as you say that, it's like, dude,
Yeah.
you're a target. What did you think of the movie? Right here at this beginning of it, when she said that to the professors, like, I'm gonna write it all down and give it to you, and you can do what you will with it.
Well, the fact that, the killer knew that she got a link with him was bad enough
Yes.
because,
Yep.
or I say him, whoever the killer is, we don't know. But all I know is it's like, yeah, bad move because you're going to be a target. If I was her,
Mhm.
I would not feel safe. You know,
Right.
I wouldn't go home alone either.
Right? No, I wouldn't either. And of
Yeah.
course, that is where we go into our next set piece, basically, which is one of the more iconic set pieces in the film, is basically when Helga goes home and she's writing down, her thoughts, basically the
Hmm.
identity of the killer and the whole thing. All of a sudden, she hears that knock at the door, or what, or maybe it was the buzzer, I can't remember. She goes towards the door, and she automatically, before she touches the door, gets a feeling, and sure as
Yeah.
hell, the door busts open, and man, it's on. One of the coolest
Yep.
shots is this shot right here, where,
Mm.
I mean, it's just, again, with a lot of Dario's films, he just has these iconic shots. And of course, if you're in an Argento film, stay away from glass, because glass is not a good thing to be around. Um, but I,
Yeah.
I I appreciate
Mhm.
the creativity, and again, this is 1975, pretty much at the height of the Italian horror craze and so forth. But
Mm.
um, it's bad news for her. Is basically what happens because
Yeah.
she gets cut
It's a
with a
great kill.
cleaver. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, she really gets messed up in that kill, and anyways, long story short, that's when we start to kind of move deeper into the story where we meet our lead, Mark, he's just a regular guy, a pianist, I think
Mhm.
it's like a jazz musician. And he's outside after, they did some practicing or whatever, and he's with his drunk friend Carlo. He's checking on
Yeah.
Carlo and trying to see how he's doing, and
Mhm.
he's outside on the street, which again was some beautiful imagery, and he sees Helga getting killed from afar, and it's a wonderful shot. I think I've got
Mhm.
an image of it here. It's a wonderful shot because he's so freaking far away, and he can see that she's getting killed in the window.
Yeah.
And of course, his reaction is to go and check on her, but it's
Help.
it's way too
Yeah,
late.
he took off sprinting to try to help her.
Yeah, he did. He sure
Yeah.
did, and he's helping her back from the window, and you can see that she was cut in a bunch of
Mhm.
places. He sits her down, and she's done, man. She's absolutely done.
Oh
But
yeah.
this is what kind of gets everything going as far as his involvement with the murders and so forth, because when he goes in to save her, he remembers after the police come and they question him, he remembers that one of the paintings that he walked by was not there anymore. So it's like this huge, it's kind of like a big plot point, in the movie.
Mhm.
And it really, I think one thing that this movie did really, really well, and I'll jump to the chat in a second. I think one thing this movie did really, really well is it introduced a lot of different um layers, a lot of different things to make you, think, questions and so forth, because
Oh yeah.
he's trying to figure out what am I missing, he's
Mhm.
just that type of person. And anyways, so let me just jump to the chat and see what these guys are talking about here. Um, Neil saying that Deep Red is Argento's best giallo and Suspiria is his B horror film, but don't ask which is better. Oh, okay. All right. Let's see. Dice was saying I hold Deep Red in a special place. I think I like it a bit more than Suspiria. Yeah, that's fair.
Nice.
That's fair. Um, let's see. Sean saying I've got it on Shutter. Yes, it is available on Shutter. Yes. Neil saying that he has the Suspiria soundtrack by Goblin on vinyl. That's awesome. Ooh, yeah, that's very cool.
It was
Um,
on Voodoo also.
okay, it's on
Yeah.
Voodoo too. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ginger Ninja saying, I need to add Phenomenon Suspiria. I have the remake to my collection.
Oh,
Okay.
huh.
All right.
Yeah.
And Brandon
I've only
saying,
seen like the remake once, and
yeah,
it just doesn't do it for me.
yeah. Brandon saying he's an English jazz pianist. I dislike jazz, but oddly enough, I know about it. Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
And I think it was pretty interesting. Just he's just kind of just a regular guy, but he's very, very smart. And it
Mm.
made for a very interesting, lead character. But he's not alone because, when he's getting questioned by the police and so forth, he meets a very interesting character. We all know who this is, Daria
Mhm.
Nicolodi, who obviously um, was a partner of Argento, both professionally and romantically, and they had a daughter together, and that's Asia Argento.
Mhm.
Obviously, we've talked a bit about her. And, anyways, she's basically playing a news reporter, Gianna, and she kind of gets entangled into this whole thing because she wants to break the news and have a scoop and all that type of stuff. So it's really,
Yeah.
really interesting. You had all these pieces of the puzzle that were put together to start to try to solve this mystery. Now, Coriander, let me ask you this. First of all, what did you think of the chemistry between Gianna and Mark?
I like these two together. I mean, the scene where they arm wrestle, come
Mhm,
on, that's like a great scene, and you
mhm.
can just see how the relationship's going to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's kind of like a smart ass, and
She
I
is,
like,
yeah.
yeah, I like her character, and I think they're great together.
Yeah, I think so too. I will say this, one thing about the movie that, I think was well, I guess it's good and a good thing because it shows how well these 2 were together, but I wish we could have seen more of them together.
Yeah.
I think that
Hmm.
that would have been really, really cool. I mean, they had some funny moments, like in the car, when Marcus shuts the door and she's like, you didn't do that because it locks and we won't be able to use it, and his seat falls back, and just little funny things. And of
Yeah.
course, their little conversation about women's lib, and she challenges him to an arm wrestling contest,
Mm-hmm.
which was so funny. And by the way, we do have a couple of fun facts I want to throw out. Might as well jump to this one right now. First one we're going to talk about is that arm wrestling scene, and this is really, really funny. Of course, I didn't know any of these beforehand, but with this scene, they actually went through 70 takes to try to get it the
Wow.
way they wanted it. I 70. It's
That's
like,
funny.
oh my gosh. And I think, David Hemmings, who played Marcus, and Daria, obviously, I think it was at their behest because they wanted it to work a certain way. But it was driving
Hmm.
Argento kind of crazy because he doesn't like to repeat things too many times, but they kept going back and forth to
Wow.
try to make the scene look the way they wanted it to look. It looked, it
Hmm.
was a good scene. It was a good scene for the two of those characters, because it really was a
Yep.
foundation for the relationship they they built, you know.
Hmm.
Um, let's see. Brandon in the chat. Um, Brandon loves the movie, saying the remake didn't work for me. Too convoluted and overly long. Not super bad, but I did find it painfully dull. The remake for Suspiria. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it was too long too. I think
Yeah.
it was probably about a half hour too long or so. Oh,
Yeah.
he said the same thing. It was a good half hour too long. Yeah, it definitely, the pacing of it was off. It really, really was off.
Yeah.
Um,
Mm.
Brandon saying, "What did I think about the casual jokes about?" Oh, from yeah. Well, it was 1975. It's definitely not a highlight of the film to me. Millions in the chat saying, "Good evening. What's going on? Good to see you too. Good to see
Oh.
you." Let's see. Um, and I think I'm caught up. But anyways, now let's get to kind of like the heart of the movie a little bit, where we're picking up clues, we're finding out what's going on. What did you think about, like, we've got the scene obviously where they they realize that this whole connection to the children's song, and they're trying to figure out, what's the link between that and the murders, and that led Marcus to go to the house, and he wanted to basically investigate, and of course, we had some interesting things that happened there. What did you think of all that, how they were basically investigating the murders?
I mean, they didn't even show like the cops doing like any investigation. It's
Right.
just this musician, and it's like, wow.
Yeah,
I
he should have
mean,
been a cop, right?
yes, because
Yeah.
well, people who saw the movie know how it ends. So,
Yeah, we
I
won't
mean,
talk
yeah,
about the ending.
right. He was a great detective.
He
That's all I'm gonna
was.
say. Yeah.
He really, really
Yeah.
was. I
Hmm.
absolutely love that scene because you got this huge ass house, like this
Hmm.
scene right here. It's dark, it's creepy, and he's trying to just figure things out. He's totally and figuratively in the dark, and he happens to see this wall, this sheetrock that's kind of peeling off, and he sees something behind it, and he starts to peel at it, and we see this painting
Hmm.
underneath of it, and he's just putting pieces of the puzzle together. Of course, while all that's happening, the author of the book, who kind of gave the idea, of all of this, unbeknownst to the author, she's being stalked by the killer, and that was a really horrific scene, that happened, midway through the movie too. Really creepy stuff, like this shot right
Hmm.
here. Again, I wanted to talk about some of the shots. I think her name was Amanda, I think, but
Yeah. Something like that.
she's basically about to be attacked by the killer. It's creepy. It's tense. It's drawn out, as a lot of Argento's kills can be. What did you think
Mhm.
of this kill in this scene?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, this movie had gore, and yeah, I mean, they're all, yeah. I mean, if only she kept those and defended herself a little bit better, but I
Yeah.
mean, it was, yeah, it was a good kill.
Yeah, it was a good kill. I mean, I think that again, she totally didn't expect what was going to happen, and
Yeah,
she did do that one movement where she was running, kind of fell down, and she kind of just couldn't get herself back up, and it's like, get
yeah,
up, go,
yep,
go, get out of there. But
yep,
yeah. Anyways, but the kill was pretty intense because it was a bathtub kill with
yeah,
scalding
hot, hot,
water.
hot water. Yeah,
Yes, yeah, yeah, and that was pretty rough. But what was
yeah,
cool about it, and this is just a minor plot point, but of course, you know who finds her?
yeah, I
Marcus is
know.
Marcus is finding dead bodies right and left.
Everywhere.
He
Yes,
literally is. He needs to get paid because he is
yeah,
finding victims and putting stuff together. It's absolutely
yep.
crazy. Um, but the author was drowned in that hot water, and of course, you know, the cops come in and all that type of stuff. And the professor Giordani, he comes in, and he's the one that actually figures out that before the author died, she was, you know, in the bathroom with all that steam, and she was
Hmm.
actually writing something on the wall, and or on the tile, you know, right
There's
where
a
she
mirror.
died. The
Yeah.
mirror, yes,
Hmm.
yes, right at the bottom of the tub. So that was kind of a really cool scene, and it was just interesting. There was a lot of cool stuff that was thrown in there,
Yeah.
where as a viewer you don't know what's going on. You're literally kind of following this thing as it goes, and
Yeah.
it catches you off guard. I really enjoyed it. Um, let's see who we have in the chat. I'll catch up to these guys a little bit. Let's see. Do, 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 do. Yeah, Brandon was saying, I agree that the joke is awkward, but we have to remind ourselves he's three-quarters drunk, trying to be darkly comedic. Very true. Yeah, it's very true. Um, and again, it was 1975, so not to excuse that, but yeah. um, Let's see. And we got Neil saying Argento steered away from the giallo trope of always having an American getting involved in a police investigation. One of the things that sets this one apart from other gialli. Yeah. The burn effects looked incredible. I agree. Yeah. It
It
really
did.
looked good. Again, for
Hmm.
1975, I agree.
Yeah.
We got Ed Harris is in the chat. What's going on, Ed?
Hello.
Saying, hey, Nightwatch Zone. Thanks, Night, for another Argento discussion. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we love getting into these discussions. He's an absolute master. He really is. Um, and I'm sure we're going to be talking about more of his stuff. Let's get into another little fun fact that we've got here. And this one was kind of interesting. I'm sure you probably appreciate it, Coriander, but um, this one is called the original title. Now,
Hmm.
this is the thing. The original title for the film was The Saber-Toothed Tiger. I
Mm,
kind of I kind of like that, but it was following the pattern that Dario's previous thrillers had. Um,
mm.
but what had happened was is that he got annoyed. Other directors have started using animal-related titles for their genre films, so he's decided to go in a different direction. So,
I don't know if I like that actually.
well, no,
Yeah.
really?
No. Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of dig it.
Yeah. Mm.
I mean, I mean,
I'm
I mean,
glad that they went with deep red.
yeah,
That's, you know,
yeah. No,
more
I'm
appropriate than what did you say?
the
Saber
saber-tooth
tooth?
tiger. Yeah,
Yeah, no. Oh
yeah.
man, I'm sorry, but no.
Well,
And yeah.
yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, you know, you had the bird with the crystal plumage, and
Uh,
cat of
yeah.
nine tails. So I think that his
Well,
original,
that's
his,
different. I don't
how is it
know. This
different?
movie, I don't know. It just doesn't work for me. I don't know.
Okay, that's all
So
right. That's
anyway,
all right.
yeah,
Um,
it's more comical, I guess.
Yeah. The other thing
Oh
too
shit.
is that it was a very, very long script that he had for the
Mm,
movie in the beginning. he had kind of, I think it was like 300 pages. No, actually, no, I think it was like 500 pages or anything, something like that.
Wow.
It was more
Mm,
than that. But his father, Salvatore Argento, and Claudio Argento, his brother, they thought that it was too long. They were afraid the audience wouldn't be able to understand all the intentions that he had with it. And so,
mhm.
thinking it was like really, really confusing to the audience. So he shortened it down to like 300 pages, which I thought, that's a lot of pages that he cut. It's almost half,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Mm,
Um, but the other thing too that kind of dovetails off of that is, the effortless creativity. He had said that this film, the whole idea of it, it just kind of flowed out of him. It was very effortless to write. He knew
mm.
exactly what he wanted to write. He thought the story was beautiful, and he wrote it in a couple of days.
Oh,
And so,
wow.
and I think, and obviously, we've seen tons of his movies. One thing that I'm hoping to do after, you know, kind of reacquainting myself with this movie is to go even deeper, with his filmography, as far as just really getting deep into it. But um, this film, you can see that it just kind of flows. You know what I'm saying? It has a certain energy to it, and I think it's very,
Mhm.
very, very interesting. Um, let's see. I just want to catch up to these guys. Ed was saying, as a huge Suspiria fan from '77, I did enjoy the remake. All right.
Mm.
Okay. Brandon loves the movie, saying a lot of the kills were thought up by Argento's co-screenwriter, and I love how grounded yet brutal they are. Yeah,
Yeah.
one thing that Dario had said was that they were trying to think of um, kills that were relatable to people in the sense of getting cut, hitting your head on something, and those types of things. So it's kind of interesting when you kind of go into their thought process of how they come up with these kills. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So let's get to, and again, I didn't want to go into the reveal or the spoilers. I wanted to be very, very surface here. So let's just tread carefully um, as we get into like the final third
Mm.
of the movie. Now, Marcus, he finds something in that house. He chips away at the wall, and he finds a dead body in the
Yeah.
house. It's all like
Mhm.
rotted and gross and decayed and everything.
Yeah.
What'd you think of that? I mean, it looked to me, it looked pretty good as far as the practical.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the practical effects in this movie, they were great. And uh, like I said, the fact that this guy is finding all these dead bodies, and like you said, this body that's who knows how many decades old it is. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's no surprise that, this detective found it. So
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. It was pretty rough. But
Yeah.
the other thing that was interesting too is the professor,
Mhm.
his kill. That was kind of interesting too because it was something that was a bit different in the film, and it reminded me of things that we eventually would see in, the way I look at it, a lot of modern films where you had this doll that comes into the room, creepy ass looking doll, and
Mhm.
is basically, you
Saw
know,
style.
okay, there you said it for me.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna say it yet, but that's exactly what I was thinking. It was very much like
Yeah.
something that you would see in Saw. I mean, here it is right here. And so, the professor was just kind of just chilling out in his his study or whatever it is, and all of a sudden, the killer has come for him. And
Mm.
you don't understand what's going on at this point. All you do is you see this doll that's coming in to the room. Of course, it's
Yeah,
really
you know
just
you're screwed
yes, yes, yes.
unless you can defend yourself pretty good.
Unless you can defend yourself, exactly.
Yeah.
And of course, really, the reason that the doll is there is only um, to confuse
Distract.
and
Hmm.
distract. You know what I mean? Of course, the killer, man, that was a rough kill. That might have been even
Yeah.
worse than Helga's kill because this one was so brutal. What did you think of
Yeah.
this kill?
This was a mouthful. No, it was good.
Oh yeah.
No, it was good. Yeah, like you say, you don't want to give away too much about
Yeah,
any of these because if you haven't seen this movie, you really gotta check it out.
right.
And
Absolutely.
yeah, this was a good one, definitely.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Um, all of this leads up, to the final moments of the film, and it's basically, to me, it's like two reveals or two stingers, so to speak. And what I loved about it was that when you get that first reveal, you're kind of like, "What?" You know what I mean? It kind of like
Hmm.
throws you off, and then something else happens to another character, and you're like, "What? Oh no!" But that's not the end of the movie. And so it was really
Yeah.
it was really
Yep.
cool like that. It really, really was. But I don't want to give that away because for any of you guys in the chat or watching this on the replay, if you have not seen this film, you should check it out. You really, really should. We've spent a little bit of time, actually a lot of time in multiple episodes talking about Italian horror, and I think it's good stuff. It's good stuff
Yeah.
to check out and add to your repertoire if you're a horror fan. It's not for everyone, but I do think there are quite a few of them that I think are
If you're a
very good.
slasher Giallo fan, you definitely need to check this out.
Yes. Yeah, if you're a
Yeah.
slasher giallo fan, you've got to. You absolutely have
Mhm.
to. Let's see. And real quick in the chat, I want to catch up with these guys a little bit. Um, Inferno, another great Argento film. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So let's do this. Let's do our grading of it because that's ultimately what we want to do. Give our stamp of approval or disapproval.
Yep.
So we've got 4 badges, which basically means that we think the film is excellent. It's a must watch. We've got our 3 badges, meaning that it's good. It's a good film. We've got our 2, meaning you can chance it, take it or leave it. Either way, doesn't really matter. And then, of course, the dreaded 1 badge, which means it's dark territory. It's not a good film, aka, the movies I'm talking about if you've watched this series. So, Coriander, what's your rating
We
going to
have
be
a
for this
list of
one?
AKAs.
Yes, we do.
Four.
We do. You're
This
going to
is
give it a 4.
definitely one that you need to own. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're going with 4 badges. And I absolutely agree with you. I'm going to give it 4 as
Oh, the
well. There,
suspense.
there was, listen, there's no lying here. This movie is amazing.
Yeah.
This is how amazing this movie is to me. I literally want to watch it again right now. It's a
You
very
go.
good movie. It's mesmerizing. It's
Mhm.
beautifully shot. You've got characters in it that are very likable. You've got the gore. It's just so many great things about this film. I
The
can't really.
music.
The music, yeah,
Yeah.
the music is fantastic. I mean,
Mhm.
seriously, it's a great movie. And of course, these two, like I said, the one thing I wish is I just wish we had more of these two together because I think they were
Mhm.
so good together. But of course, that just shows in the limited time that they had in this movie that they made impact as a as a duo, I'll say.
They
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Neil saying Deep Red gets 10 SMC badges from me.
All right.
Br- Brandon
Mm.
Beldam saying, well, I'll be adding this to my collection. Yeah,
Very
I think
nice.
you should. Let's see. And Neil saying impromptu movie stream night. I wish. If I could, I would. If I didn't have to go to work, I would. Um, Brandon loves the movies, saying I'll give it 4 stars out of 4. Classic of the genre that all serious genre collectors of physical media should own a Blu-ray 4K of. There you
Yeah.
go. Um, and Brandon Bolden saying I give it 3.5 stars. All right.
Ah.
Well, there we are. Um, it's a great film. It really, really is. For anyone that hasn't seen it, or if you haven't seen it in a while, definitely check it out. Like I said, I really enjoy it. All the imagery, the colors, and everything is just mesmerizing. I can't say enough
Mhm.
about it. So, all right. So,
Yep.
Coriander, let's talk about what we're gonna do for next week. Now, we kind of went back and forth on this a little bit. So,
What
this
are
is
we
what we're
gonna
gonna
do?
do. Right. Well, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna leave it up to you because we've got our
Oh
list.
God.
Yeah, I'm gonna
What?
leave it up to you. We've got
No.
we've got our list, and we've got a couple movies that seem like they're pretty interesting, but we haven't seen them before.
Oh
And
man.
we haven't even heard of them, which of course is par for the course for Slasher Movie Club because that happens quite often that we're talking about movies that we have never seen or even heard of. And then we've got a couple that are a little bit more well known. So what do you think? What are we gonna go with?
Um, well, personally, I think we should. I've heard about the Final Girls, but I have not
Okay,
seen it.
okay,
It's
and
from
that's from
2015.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's on Prime and Vudu. Um,
okay.
so there we go.
Okay, so that's what we'll do for next week then. We'll be watching The Final Girls from 2015. I actually have not seen it either. It's been on my
Yeah,
watch list for a long time, and I've just never gotten a chance to watch it because obviously we watch a lot of movies just to
yeah,
do
we
our,
do.
our live streams for. So this gives me the chance to check it out. So I'm excited.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah.
Very
All
cool.
right.
Um, Dan was saying, let's pick a good one, Coriander.
Oh no, pressure. Hopefully I did. I don't know.
That's funny. Oh my
Right?
god. No, well, I've heard
Oh
good things
man.
about it. Again, I've never seen it, but I've heard
Hmm.
good things about it. So, um,
Oh, that's good.
Brandon saying The
Oh,
Final
okay.
Girls, hell yeah. All right.
All right.
Uh, and one real nerds in the chat saying hello. What's going on? What's going
Hello.
on? Neil also saying The Final Girls was fun. All right.
Okay.
So it looks like it was a good pick. You're all right.
All
You
right.
did it. All right,
Yeah.
guys. Well, we're going to get ready to end up there. But again, for you guys who have not seen Deep Red from 1975 by the great
Check it
Dario
out.
Argento, check it
Yeah.
out. Um,
Hmm.
it's it's a great movie. Seriously, it's a great movie. Neil saying, just don't get it mixed up with Final Girl, which is not so fun. Okay,
Oh no,
we'll make sure. It's funny.
dude.
Oh my god. Oh man. All right. Well, listen. And Brandon loves movies saying it's a classic of his genre. All right, cool. Well, I can't wait to
Yeah.
check it out, and we'll be
Yeah.
talking about it next week. So for you guys in the live chat, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think of Deep Red. Also, if you do have any thoughts about our upcoming movie, without spoilers, of course, because neither one of us have seen it, and I'm sure there's a lot of folks that may not have seen it either. Um, Jason saying thanks, Nightwatch and Coriander. Looking forward to seeing Deep Red. Yeah, Jason, and that's what I was
Nice.
going to
Let
say.
us know how you like it.
Yeah, for you guys that haven't seen it, let us know in the comment section what you think of it. It'd be interesting to hear you guys'
Yeah.
thoughts on it. Don't forget to hit the like button. It helps to support the channel, and we'd appreciate it. And yeah, we'll catch you guys next time. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace.
Ouch.